Hi everybody. In this video, we're going to read the next chapter of Meet the Gecko. Chapter 7. The Mole Tastes His Own Medicine. One of the 87 sites I looked at was for a newspaper in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Someone there really hated the mole. There was an article in the archives that cut him down low, said he was a liar, an embarrassment to journalism, said his work stank like a sewage line. They didn't have a picture of him though, and they called him Mr. Bull. Did they really think that would stop him? Obviously, they didn't have much experience with sneaks and bullies. I added their email address to the others I'd collected. They were going to love my slimy slug mole. There was also a television station in Los Angeles that had journalist Joel Bull, known to celebrities as the Mole. But it was an old link and didn't take me anywhere. I copied and pasted the station's email address anyway. You never know. By the time I'd gone through all the websites, I had learned lots about the Mole. He ruined lives. People hated him. He was even worse than the Gecko had told me. He was wicked, evil, a true villain. Well, maybe he'd gotten away with it so far, but he'd never gone nose to nose with Shredderman before. I clicked on compose. I put Mole Alert, Truth and Justice Canberra Vale in the subject line of a new email. Then I wrote a short note and attached the Slugmole page. The note said, "He's a pest, a nuisance, an ugly line of slime across the pages of honest journalism. Lawsuits don't stop him. He oozes out of them. And now we know why. The mole is really a slug. Help expose him for who he is. Forward this picture to every journalist, paper, reporter, or celebrity you know. Let's show the world who Joel the Mole Bull really is. Yours in truth and justice, Shredderman." I added all the email addresses I found to the to box. There were a lot. I spell checked everything and was in the middle of giving my mass mailing final inspection when knock, knock, knock. I banged my knee. I spun around. Mom peeked into my room. "Where's my birthday boy?" "Mom." She came in. "Don't you mom me." She gave me a squeaky smooch on my cheek and said, "I heard you had an outstanding adventure today. Tell me all about it." "I'll have to finish this first." She squatted next to my chair and looked at the monitor. "Your dad said you were busy shredding on some sleazy reporter. Can I see?" Uh, don't worry. I may not be your sidekick, but I am in your corner. Let's see." So I showed her, and she loved the slug mole. But when she saw my message and all the people I was sending it to, she started fidgeting. Her smile turned twitchy. Her eyes went into hyperblink. She said a lot of uhs and buts and do you thinks, and finally she just came out and said, "I don't think this is such a good idea, Nolan. I know you've spent all day on it, but I don't want him to sue us." I scowled at her. Fear holds no power over the pursuit of truth and justice. "Mom, I'm serious, Nolan. Let me talk this over with your dad, okay?" "No!" Her eyebrows flew to the ceiling. Her jaw dropped to the floor. But I held my ground. "He's not going to sue us. He doesn't even know who I am." "But he's a jerk. A liar. He's made up stories about people for years. But he gets a picture of someone blinking and says they're on drugs. He takes a head and puts it on someone else's body. He photographs people reaching for something and says they're stealing it. You should read all the things I found on the internet today. People are really hurt by him, and nobody seems to be able to stop him. Even the gecko's afraid of him. He hides in his room because he's afraid to go out." "Oh, I don't believe that." "It's true. But Nolan," I crossed my arms and frowned at her, "you're making me wish I'd never told you I was Shredderman." She was quiet. "Mom," I said softly, "I want to stop him. You should want to stop him too. But sometimes you have to risk a little in the search for truth and justice." She looked in my eyes. She looked long and hard. I didn't blink. I didn't look away. I just sat there, steady. Finally, she took a deep breath and eyed my computer monitor. It's all ready to go? I nodded. She stared at it another minute, then reached over and took my mouse. I wanted to grab it away from her. She moved the pointer until it hovered over send. What was she doing? May I? She asked me. Now she wanted to send it, but I looked at the pointer. I looked at her. I'd spent my whole birthday putting this email together. I wanted to click on send. The moment of send is the grand finale. Just thinking about the information zipping around the world as faster than I can blink makes my head float. It's mind-boggling, astounding. I love clicking the send button. But there's my mom, with her hand on my mouse, the pointer hovering over send. She had a grin on her face. She looked like a kid, a happy kid. And I could tell that she wasn't doing this just because it was my birthday. She was doing it because truth and justice were important to her, too. More important than getting into trouble. So finally I nodded and said, go ahead. And with that, she clicked, and my mole alert message flew around the globe.